Ashlyn, and this is my yoga final video. For this sequence, I'm going to do restoration. It's a restoration sequence. Yeah. Okay, so to start off this sequence, we're just going to start off in Tadasana, or mountain pose. And what you want to do for this one, to make sure you're doing it correctly, is you want to take your feet hip width apart, and then you want to have your gaze forward, and then you want to put your hands at heart center. And you're just going to take a few breaths here. And how you can modify this is you could put your hands to your side. Just make sure that your shoulders are relaxed. And then a way you could deepen it is you could go up on your toes, or you could have your arms up or out like this. So we're just gonna take a few breaths here. And you want to inhale and exhale through the nose. And you really just want to root yourself in your feet into the floor through your feet. You can either close your eyes or just have a soft gaze forward. And then next we're going to move to the standing forward bend, and to transition between these, we're going to just bend forward. You want to make sure that you're trying to keep your back as straight as you can. That's the main goal. So to modify, you might want to bend your knees so that you can keep your spine straight. And you want to be able to touch the floor. And then if you're really flexible, then what you can do is you can place a block underneath your feet so that you can actually do more stretching and get more of that. So then we're just going to take some more breaths here. Just in and out the nose. And then with that exhale, we are going to transition to our standing forward lunge. And how we're going to transition to that, so we're down like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to anchor our hands more into the floor and move our right foot forward and our left leg back. I have my toe tucked, but you can also have it not tucked and your knee down if you want to make that easier. And then a way you could make this a little harder is just stay up, and maybe you can try and lean up if you'd like. And we're just gonna take some, so while you're doing this one, you wanna make sure that, your ankle and knee are squared on top of each other, and that your hands are just like on the floor. And what I do is I keep my foot tucked. I keep my foot tucked rather than on the floor and down. Now we're going to take a few breaths here, and this one engages the legs. So we're just going to take a few breaths here, in and out the nose. All right, and then with that exhale, we are just going to transition from the low lunge down to the Sphinx. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to anchor our hands a little more in there. We're going to move our leg out, tuck the toes under, and lower. Now for the Sphinx, you have your arms low, and this is a good calming pose for the body. So for this one, you want to make sure that your neck is not, that your ears aren't by your shoulders, and that you are stacking the shoulder and the elbow. And then for this one, the hips are on the ground, and then we're just gonna make sure that our gaze is forward, and then we're just gonna take some breaths here. Just checking, making sure that our ears aren't next to our shoulders. Just in and out the nose. All right, then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to go backwards a little. We're going to walk our hands backwards, and we're just going to go into a tabletop position. We want a neutral spine looking at the top of our mat, and we are going to go here. You want to make sure that your shoulders, elbows, and wrists are stacked, and that your hips and knees are stacked. Make sure that your knees are hip width apart and that your hands are shoulder width apart. And then what we're going to be doing is connected to our exhales and inhales, we're going to be shifting this spine. So what we're going to do is as we inhale, we're going to look up, we're going to take our ears away from our shoulders and just really try and get that arch in there. We're going to take that arch and we want to push that belly button to the floor. And then with the exhale, we're just going to take that chin and we're just going to push it in to our chest and push our belly button toward the sky. Again, trying to keep those joints stacked. And then the inhale and the exhale. The inhale and the exhale. We're going to do this a few times. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our knees a little wider, and then we're going to keep our hands in the same place. We want to make sure that they're in the same place, and then we're going to take our butt and place it on our heels. And then once our hips are on our heels, then we can take the wrists forward. You want to make sure that your head is, that your neck is lengthened and that there's tension with your wrists and arms. And just take breaths here and make sure that every once in a while you'll self-check and make sure that your heels and hips are connected. You can take your forehead down to the ground. We're just going to take some breaths here. So that is going to be the last pose for this sequence. Thank you so much for watching, I guess. Bye.